More people die from cold at night than during the day. Sleep is when the human body is most vulnerable to freezing. Your body temperature naturally drops while you sleep, sometimes by 2 full degrees. In the Ice Age, that drop could be fatal. No fire watch, no blankets like ours, no heated homes. So how did ancient humans survive 8 hours of unconsciousness in freezing temperatures? The answer isn't luck. It's a set of survival strategies so effective, some of them are still built into your body today. This is the story of how humans learned to survive the most dangerous hours of the day, without ever waking up frozen. While you're awake, your body constantly fine-tunes its temperature. But during sleep, that control system partly shuts off. When you're awake and cold, you shiver, move, and seek shelter automatically. Asleep, none of that happens as quickly. Muscles relax completely during deep sleep, which means less natural heat is being generated by the body. The coldest hours of any night are usually just before sunrise, exactly when the body is in its deepest, most vulnerable sleep. For early humans, figuring out how to survive this exact window meant the difference between life and death every single night. Long before blankets, the human body already had a built-in defense, the fetal sleeping position. Curling into a ball reduces the surface area exposed to cold air, cutting heat loss dramatically compared to lying flat. Hands were tucked under armpits and feet drawn close to the torso, protecting the coldest and most sensitive parts of the body. This wasn't something ancient humans had to think about. It's an instinct still hardwired into every human today. Even now, on a cold night, your body curls the exact same way, a direct inheritance from ancestors who slept in the open Ice Age cold. One sleeping body loses heat fast. 10 sleeping bodies, pressed together, create something closer to a furnace. Group sleeping could raise the temperature inside a shelter by several degrees, purely from shared body heat. The most vulnerable members, children, the elderly, the sick, were placed in the center, insulated by the bodies around them. Adults on the outside took the brunt of the cold, forming a living wall between the group and the freezing night air. This wasn't just closeness for comfort, it was an organized, life-saving heating system, rebuilt every single night. Sleeping directly on frozen ground drains body heat faster than almost anything else, so ancient humans stopped doing it. Dry grass, moss and leaves were packed into thick mats, creating an insulating barrier between the body and the cold earth. Animal hides were laid on top, combining plant insulation below with fur insulation above. An early version of a mattress and blanket. This layered bedding trapped a pocket of warm air around the sleeper, similar to how modern sleeping bags work. A well-built sleeping bed wasn't a luxury. It was one of the most important survival tools ancient humans ever developed. Wind was often more dangerous than the cold itself, stripping heat from the body far faster than still air. By sleeping in shallow dugout pits or hollows, ancient humans dropped below the direct path of freezing wind. Snow itself, once packed down, acted as insulation, trapping body heat inside much like the walls of an igloo. A windbreak placed at the entrance stopped cold air from pouring directly onto sleeping bodies during the night. These simple, low-tech shelters could mean the difference between a safe night's sleep and one that never ended. Not everyone slept at the same time. In many groups, someone always stayed awake, watching over the others. Night watch wasn't just about predators. It was about checking that no one had grown dangerously cold or still. A watcher could notice if furs had slipped, if a sleeper had drifted too far from the group's warmth, and quietly fix it. This rotation of watchers meant the group's warmth and safety was being actively managed all night long, not left to chance. By morning, everyone had slept, everyone was warm, and the system had worked exactly as it was designed to. Even in deep sleep, the human brain never fully stops monitoring body temperature. When core temperature drops too far, the body triggers shivering even during sleep, a built-in emergency heat generator. Extreme cold can also trigger partial waking, just enough to adjust blankets or move closer to others without fully losing sleep. This is the same system still working in your body tonight, the reason you instinctively pull up a blanket without ever waking up. Long before shelters or fires, this internal alarm system was already the very first line of defense against freezing in your sleep. Not every night ended safely. Sleeping alone, exposed, or without proper bedding carried very real risk. Hypothermia during sleep could happen quietly, without pain, without struggle, simply a slow drift from cold sleep into death. Archaeological evidence suggests this was a real and understood danger. One of the reasons group sleeping became so deeply ingrained. Knowledge of proper sleeping techniques was passed down deliberately, generation after generation, as literal survival training. Every strategy we've covered exists because early humans learned, sometimes the hardest way, exactly what worked and what didn't. Tonight, when you pull up your blanket and curl onto your side, you're repeating survival behavior that's tens of thousands of years old. The fetal curl. The instinct to sleep close to others. The way your body shivers you awake when you're too cold. None of it is random. These are ancient survival tools, refined over thousands of generations, still quietly running in the background of your body every night. Ancient humans didn't need fire to survive the night. They needed position, community, insulation, vigilance, and a body built by evolution itself. Sleep was never a break from survival. For our ancestors, it was one of the most dangerous and most cleverly solved challenges of all.